In 2025, value for mechanical keyboards is absolutely insane. You can get some of the most amazing keyboards under a $50 price point that literally just 3 years ago would have been over $100. And the first one we're talking about is the Womier VK66, coming in at a price tag of only $32.99. Oh, and if you want to check out any of the keyboards in this video, there's Amazon links below, but let's talk about the VK66. Firstly, its form factor is a 65% form factor. The case is a two-piece plastic shell that is gasket mounted, so you do get some bounce while typing, and I know a lot of you like that. It does have two-stage flip-up risers, which is a really nice touch for this price point, as well as having a Windows and Mac switch next to the USB Type-C. The keyboard itself is quite light and flexible, but for the price, that's to be expected. It overall looks very attractive on a desk. Now, for dampening, this has a thick layer of foam in the case, but that is all. Now, depending on your style, this has 3 different color options, one white like I have, and then a retro dark gray and a retro white. A nice variety for the price point. Now, for switches, this only comes with the content linear red switches that are unlubed. They are obviously a budget switch, so they have some noticeable scratchiness to them, but I do enjoy the weight for both typing and gaming. But in the future, if you want to swap these out, you can, since this is fully hot swappable with 3 and 5 pin switches, a great keyboard to mod. Now for keycaps here, these are cherry profile PBT with a medium texture, and I like the addition of the included accent keycaps for a bit more flair. They're a little thin, but for the price, they look very attractive. The stabilizers are lubed from the factory, which is great, but they are quite loose in the plate, causing some noticeable rattles. But for this price point, it's still very, very impressive. Take a listen. With just a little bit of modding, this thing could be awesome. All right, for connectivity, this is wired only with a detachable USB Type-C, and RGB is actually insanely bright and vibrant here. Really impressive, and not something I was expecting, but hoped for because, well, this is Womier. That being said, the RGB colors here are fixed, so no other colors, but there are nice modes here, and the LEDs are south-facing, obviously because this has cherry profile keycaps. However, the next keyboard bumps it up a little bit. This is the Keychron C3 Pro, coming in at a price tag of $39.99. This now is a TKL form factor, which is pretty much the gold standard. So a few more keys here and a little bit more usability. All right, now the TKL is a great form factor if you're not sure if you're going to miss functionality when going to a smaller keyboard form factor, but don't want to take up like a monstrous amount of space like a full-size keyboard. Now the case is again completely made of plastic and is also gasket mounted with a bit more bounciness than the previous keyboard. There's again dual flip-up risers, a 3-way cable channel, and more dampening in the case with foam between the plate and the PCB and foam in the case. Now for switches, you get Keychron's red linears. It is not hot swappable, so you are stuck with these and cannot swap them out. However, they have decent smoothness to them, and this is compatible with QMK VIA, which is amazing and a massive pro. That alone may be a reason to buy this keyboard. Keycaps here are shine-through, so in the dark you'll be able to read the keys. They are double-shot ABS and OEM profile with a noticeable texture to them and actually a decent thickness. The stabilizers are much better tuned than the previous keyboard. They are greased and lubed and feel much more solid, but still have a little bit of ticks and rattles here and there. Much better sound though, take a listen. For connectivity, this is wired with a detachable USB Type-C, and for RGB, it's just red here. So you only have the red LED backlight, but it's bright and has multiple modes and fits the colorway of this keyboard. Now, this next keyboard is excellent if you're a gamer. This is the MONSGEEK Fun 60 Pro, coming in at a price tag of $34.99. The form factor here is smaller at a 60% form factor, but this gives you so much for your money. This is obviously the best form factor for space saving. This case is again made completely of plastic, but feels of a much higher quality due to the minimal flex in the case, which is probably helped by that aluminum top plate. For dampening, there's foam between the plate and the PCB, and that's it, but that does leave something for you to mod. Now, you can get this variant in either black or white, or spend about $7 more and get a more premium gradient colorway keycap option, which is pretty cool. But the big deal here is all of the features for gamers. This has an 8000 Hz polling rate, magnetic switches, as well as a web-based software for customizing things like rapid trigger, switch actuation points, SOCD, and a lot more, making this the best keyboard on the list for gaming specifically. Since MONSGEEK is a sub-brand of ACO, you get ACO's Glare magnetic switches, which have a really nice weight to them for gaming and typing and are adjustable from 0.1 millimeters to 3.4 millimeters of actuation. That is awesome. Now, as well as having a much smoother feel than the previous switches due to being slightly lubed from the factory, this is also hot swappable and compatible in the software with ACO's other magnetic switches, so if you wanted a different feel, you could do that. Now, keycaps here are PVD, having a good thickness and slight texture to them. They're also shine through and have great diffusion, gives it a really clean look, but also great usability in the dark, especially for gamers. The stabs are tight in the plate and lightly lubed here. They have slight rattles, but some grease would easily fix that. Even if you're not into modding, this is a really cheap and easy fix. But take a listen to the sound test. For connectivity, this is wired with a detachable USB Type-C. RGB is great here. It's very bright, vibrant, with full customization, tons of different colors, tons of different modes, really anything you want here, an excellent value. The next keyboard, the AJAZZ AK820, only priced at $38.99. This is the first 75% form factor on the list, and this looks more like a custom keyboard than anything else. Just wait for the sound test. So obviously this is a bit more compact than the TKL and has a real metal knob, which is a great touch to have. This has a two-piece plastic case and is again gasket mounted, but it is much heavier here and feels like a much more substantial keyboard in hand. The dampening is also significantly more premium, having not only foam between the plate and the PCB, but also a PET film and an IPXE switch pad. Then in the case, this has foam and a thick piece of silicone, making this keyboard sound extremely premium. This is basically a full custom keyboard for under 40 bucks. Kind of wild. Now for colors, you can get this in either a white and purple colorway, which is what I have, or a black and yellow colorway. Now, the feeling of the switches on this keyboard is a huge step up. This comes with AJAZZ Prelude Sea Salt Purple switches, which are a linear switch and feel absolutely amazing to type or game on, having a lighter actuation force of 40 grams and a really good amount of smoothness. Now, if for some reason you didn't like those, which at under $40, these switches are an absolute steal. However, if you didn't like them and wanted to switch something else in, this is fully hot swappable 3 and 5 pin switches. Now, the keycaps here are non-shine through PBT keycaps that are an OEM profile and have a mild texture to them. They are nice and thick and really add to the sound of this keyboard, which you're about to hear. The stabilizers are also a huge step up from the other keyboards on the list, being pretty much perfectly tuned out of the box. Extremely impressive for the price point. Again, adding to that whole custom keyboard vibe. There are some slight ticks, but you really have to listen for them to notice them. Take a listen to the sound test. So impressive. Now for connectivity, this is wired only with a detachable USB Type-C, and the RGB is great. The LEDs are south facing, it's bright and vibrant, and again has full customizability, having tons of colors, tons of modes to match whatever color your setup is. But with that, let's move on to the last and best keyboard on the list. This is the Kisnt KN85, coming in at a price tag of $49.99. This keyboard is a steal for the price. This is a more compact version of a traditional TKL form factor. The case itself is again a two-piece plastic gasket mounted design, but the plastics are definitely on the thicker and much more high quality side than all of the others on the list. On the underneath side, there is a dongle storage as well as connectivity switch because yes, this is fully wireless for under $50. There's also a Mac and Windows switch and flip-up risers. For dampening, this again has 3 layers between the plate and the PCB, as well as silicone and pour-on foam in the bottom half of the case. And just wait for the sound test because this keyboard sounds truly incredible, very marbly. For switches, this uses the BSUN Prelude linear switches and they are smooth. By far the best feeling switches on the list, no competition. They sound great, and they also have a great middle ground weight to them. Whether you're a gamer, typing, coding, whatever you're doing, these are going to be great for it. But if for some reason you don't like them, this is also fully hot swappable with 3 and 5 pin switches. Now the keycaps are non-shine through and cherry profile with a slight texture. Really like that they're cherry profile. As for the stabilizers, these have a great feel to them. So satisfying, especially that backspace. There are some really slight ticks, but overall the sound and feel is great here. Take a listen for yourself. Oh, so good and marbly. For connectivity, this is again fully wireless with a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle for gaming, or you can use this in Bluetooth mode, and this uses USB Type-C for charging or connectivity. I also had absolutely no connection issues when testing this at all. The RGB is also great here. It's fully customizable with tons of colors and static modes, and it's obviously per-key lighting. Oh, and it's south-facing LEDs. But again, guys, if you want to check out any of the keyboards in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. 2025 is absolutely the best year to buy a mechanical keyboard, because look at what you get. Literally, these keyboards would have cost $200 just a few years ago, and now you can get them for under 50, under 40 bucks. Insane. All right, but this is Consumer Tech Review, and I'll see you guys in the next video.